Hello and welcome back to Robots Don't Age. This episode we will be covering Descender Volume 6. But first, with me today is, as usual, my co-host Keyauni. Keyauni, how you doing?
What up, motherfuckers? I'm doing pretty fucking good. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. I thought today, for the first time in at least a long time, I would go first with my currents, if that's alright with you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm ready.
Okay, so in terms of video games, I've mostly gone back to my comfort foods. I've been playing Maneater, which I mentioned before, where you play the shark that, you eat people and other fish and you upgrade and become more powerful. It's a little cartoonish and it kind of has like that narration following you around that explains the stuff your shark's doing and give you little fun facts.
Nice.
Let's see. Started playing Ghosts of Tsushima again, which is like a samurai revenge video game. I think it was the last PS4 exclusive to come out. That's just kind of fun. Again, like more comfort food games that I've already played. More Phasmophobia because that's just. I mean, I love Phasmophobia. I'm not going to stop playing it regardless, at least not foreseeable future. So, let's see. Other than video games, let's see. For TV shows, I just finished the entire series of Watchmen from 2019. Have you seen any of that?
I feel like I've seen bits and pieces of it from other people watching it, but I have not sat down and watched it.
Okay, so I don't know anything about the Watchmen movie or the Watchmen graphic novel. So I'm going into this one kind of blind and ignorant on the actual storyline, but I do know some of the characters like Dr. Manhattan are reoccurring. But the backdrop for this show is the Oklahoma City bombing and the kind of repercussions that came from that several years later in Oklahoma. And basically, at this point in the timeline, like cops don't automatically carry guns. They have to wear masks everywhere because their lives are threatened. I mean, cops carry guns, but they have to be like released from dispatch and everything. And the cops are at war with like what's essentially it's called the Seventh Cavalry, but it's like a knockoff version of the KKK, just like kind of more comic booky, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They wear Rorschach masks from. I mean, I guess it's another Watchmen character. Again, I don't know, but it's a fascinating series with pretty cool sci-fi stuff in there. I'd recommend checking it out too because it's only one season. I believe it's 9 episodes. So if you're looking for like a comic booky kind of adventurous, more unique show as opposed to like the other, Marvel brand comic book stuff, definitely check that out.
I definitely do like Marvel brand stuff. You know what I'm saying? I like all the superhero-y type shit, so I'll have to check that out.
I mean, I guess I'm even reluctant to say that the Watchmen show is too much like superhero show, but it's definitely in the comic book universe, and it's just something, a little bit different than the Marvel fare. But there's that. I also recently got CBS All Access, and I've been watching Stephen King's The Stand, which is basically, I mean, they did a series on Stephen King's book The Stand back in the '90s, but this is a new series taking place in modern time. And if you're a fan of the show, then you know for a fact that I love The Stand as the book. It's my favorite Stephen King novel, so I was pretty excited to check this out.
I actually have The Stand sitting in my queue for Audible for me to listen
I
to.
know. I remember because I convinced you to download it a long time ago during one of the episodes.
Yes, and I have not. I haven't started it yet, but I will. I will get there. You know what I'm saying?
For those of you who aren't familiar with the story of The Stand, essentially a virus called Captain Trips gets released from a government base. And I mean, it's not really much of a spoiler. It takes out 99.9% of the population. And the remaining 0.1% essentially splits into two factions, the Boulder Free Zone, or what you would probably think of as the good guys, and then the people that go to Las Vegas, which are, more evil, militant, like arming themselves type of faction. And all right, so as someone who loves the book dearly, I'm not going to say anything too negative about it because I've watched the 5 episodes they have out. But, like, for example, with their casting, I loved the way they did the casting for all the characters. Tom Collin, when he first appeared on screen, I wanted to cry a little bit because he's such a sweet character. Like, in the book, Tom Collins, the proper term, mentally handicapped individual, I suppose. And he's a little slow. He can't read. He can't write. He's developmentally disabled, I think is the way he phrases it in the show. But like in the book, he's such a sweet character. He takes care of Nick Andros, and like they're best friends. And the actor they got to play him is just so sweet and lovable when he when he's Tom Collin. They got a great casting for Larry Underwood, who's this like old rock star. Well, in the book, he was this one-hit wonder kind of guy who's trying to clean his life up. In the show, he was this up-and-coming musician. Like they just did really great casting for it. The major downside to the casting being that Amber Heard is in there, but it is what it is. But yeah, other than I love the casting, but I really don't like the way they're doing the timeline because I think the show assumes that everyone watching it's read the book, so it kind of jumps around from, all right, here they are right now in the Boulder Free Zone after the virus wiped out all of humanity. Now here's this character jump back all the way at the beginning before virus wiped out all of humanity and how they got to this position. And it's just why are you showing us character by character what's going on and hopping back and forth from the free zone when I would assume it probably would have been easier just to do it the same way the book in the chronological order of the events that happen per character. You just go back and forth that way. I feel like that would have probably been a better way to go, but I don't know. I mean, clearly I'm not the one who was hired to fucking showrun it. I thought it was a weird narrative choice, especially if people going in haven't read the book and they don't quite know what's going on.
So you feel like it didn't really follow the best timeline to kind of lay things out for people who hadn't read it.
Yeah, if you're coming into it and you don't know right away there's not a virus. I mean, I don't know exactly at what point it gets brought up that that's the main thing. I think it's still in the first episode, but it opens up with the Boulder Free Zone and the people getting rid of bodies or just life in the Boulder Free Zone, which I thought was a weird choice because coming just in, you didn't know that there was a virus, you didn't know what's going on with the split of the factions, and then they just show you character by character what happened and kind of fits together, but
and kind of
it's just not.
So they essentially show you the whole puzzle piece in the beginning and then give you tidbits of the puzzle as you go through.
Essentially, because they're all right, here are some characters, and then you're going to jump back and forth and see how each character got here and what their significance in the story is so far. And it's I don't know if that's the way I would have chosen to do it. I probably would have just gone the way the book did and show the characters as they started out and then go back and forth from there. But like I said, I don't know. Maybe there's a great finale wrap up for it.
I get what you're saying, though. I feel like I could see how that would be kind of confusing.
Yeah, as opposed to showing here's Larry Underwood arriving at the free zone, then here's Larry Underwood back in New York before the virus. Here's Larry Underwood as the virus develops. Here's Larry Underwood leaving New York. I don't know. It seemed like a weird thing, but either way, I'm still watching the show, so I'm not stopping or anything just because of this. I just thought it was a weird choice on their end.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, other than that, pretty sure that's actually about it. What have you been up to, Keyauni?
Well, I've been working on crocheting that giant fucking blanket that I got high and fucking, accidentally made way too long. I actually measured it and it's 8.5 feet long. So
Do you want to do a quick recap of that story? Because I actually cut it from the last time.
Okay, well, listen, guys. So, if you're going to do something for the first time, you should probably not do it inebriated. I don't know. I mean, I guess inebriated is drinking. Whatever. I ate weed. I ate an edible. And I decided that I wanted to try crocheting a blanket. I was going to crochet myself a blanket. And I did crocheting in middle school or whatever. But anyway, so I'm making my first row of stitches. And apparently you're supposed to count your stitches, which I didn't know. But my whole thing is I was going to do as long as my, the bottom of my queen size bed. And so I'm high as shit. And then I'm watching TV while I'm doing this. And then all of a sudden I'm oh, fuck. Oh, okay. Oh, I made this too long. So I throw it out and I was oh, that's not that bad. That'll be all right. That's only kind of a little bit bigger than my bed. And then I get up and so I continue and I start doing the next 4 or 5 rows. And then I get up the next morning and I'm bitch, this fucking thing is way too long. This is huge. It's California king size ass blanket, probably bigger than that. I don't know, but it's 8.5 feet. The bottom of the blanket's 8.5 feet, which I guess I could do side to side instead of top to bottom of that length. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I bought 40 fucking things of yarn, so we're just gonna see how far that takes me, and that's probably about as big as the blanket's gonna get. Cause I'm over here breaking my fingers trying to do this shit.
You heard it here first, kids. Don't eat an edible and attempt to do something new.
Yeah. I mean, if you're already familiar with it, I think it's just because sometimes I get high when I paint and stuff, so then I'm just because I can just go
What's
with it.
The difference?
Yeah, right? I'm just arts and crafts are arts and crafts. It's fine. I was wrong. I was wrong.
Apparently, that's not a translatable thing.
No, but I figured it'll probably be like a great story for like my grandkids in the future when I like pass down this blanket, and the family will be like, "Yeah, this one time your granny got real fucking high, and she fucked this shit up." I can hear my kids now, "Mom, don't tell them that."
One day, your grandmother got fucking ripped and decided to knit a blanket.
Grandma was,
Wow, Grandma, what else happened?
well, that's about it. Size giraffe pussy.
One time, I'll tell you about the time I thought trees were talking to me and I could walk on water.
And I could walk on water. That's a whole other story. Probably will
What
have
else have you been up to?
acid trip stories for them. Anyway. So I've been, I've done a couple vibe checks recently, which we've gone over what those are. If anyone would like a vibe check, abundantstudio.com. And then I also am working on an art exchange with this girl that I met online. She does what she calls like soul paintings, and I do, the vibe
Ooh.
checks. And she, does like tarot cards and readings and stuff like that. So I guess this like plays into that whole thing with you, like because she asked like when your birthday is and your birth time and all this other stuff, so she can like read into like your natal chart and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm working on that. And then I've also got the fucking raffle that I'm doing. If anyone is interested, which is also on my website, I am raffling off one of my paintings. It is the Limitless painting. You can see it in my gallery on my website. You can also see it in the portion where you buy a fucking ticket, but they're $5 a ticket. You can buy as many fucking tickets as you want. But yeah, so I'm raffling that off. I TikToks as usual. I recently watched the Disney movie Soul. And
Okay, I've heard about this one.
yeah, and I really liked it. It was really good. I really liked the message. Like, it's like the whole, because it's kind of like plays into my belief system and stuff, because I think that, we live multiple lives and stuff like that. And I don't think that we really die after this. Like, I don't think that our soul dies because, like, science, energy, all that. We won't go into that. That's a long ass thing. But anyway, it was really fucking good. But I do have like a bone to pick with Disney. Okay, so like in this movie, this man, he's like this little he's like his soul, because he dies early on. Okay, and spoilers, and he's like this soul. And then when he finally comes back to his body, it's a young soul that ends up in his body. He ends up in the body of a cat. Like, what is it? I feel like anytime, and this is, I feel like anytime that there is a black character in a Disney movie, they turn them into a fucking animal. Why? Why do you do that? Like,
I mean, I guess the only one I could think of at the top of my head is the princess, and I think she became a frog.
yeah, she did sure as shit for like 90% of the fucking movie. So
What other instance was
there's
there?
this other movie, I can't think of what it's called, but this guy is like a spy or some shit, and he turns into a fucking pigeon for like 90% of the movie. So I've got like 3 movies so far, and they all end up being an animal for like a good portion of the movie. And I feel
I feel like as a budding filmmaker, I should just cut in and say the views of Keyauni and I are not necessarily the views of any co-host or robots that don't age. Disney, if you'd still like to hire me, by all means, go ahead. Keyauni, go on.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, y'all, that's. I feel like that's kind of fucking shitty. Like, the fuck.
I
Like,
mean, you're not wrong. I'm trying. Like, I don't watch a lot of Disney, if I'm being honest with you, because I've never really cared much for Disney as a whole. They own Star Wars, and I guess now that's the biggest thing. Even I'm a little burnt out on like the Marvel stuff. I can't really get back into it. I only watch it if people suggest it, so I don't really check out Disney stuff at all. But I don't have any other cases I could think of to argue. So
I can only think of those 3 movies. You know what I'm saying? Where like the main character has been a black person, and that's just, yeah. It bothers me. But anyway, I recently got a tattoo, which was like an early tattoo, was like an early birthday present for me. I almost said an early tattoo present. Ooh, tattoo.
woo,
It was a thigh piece.
Tatooine. Wait, go on. Thigh
Tattoo?
piece.
Yeah, it's a thigh piece, and so that was pretty nice. I like it. I'll have to send you a picture later. I also
Are you going to tell us what it is, or just that it was a tattoo on your thigh?
yeah, sure. It's a woman's face, and she's got like an octopus on her head, like in her hair, and then she has like octopus eyes which is really fucking cool. And then there's like planets circling the top of her head. And then there's
Holy shit.
And then she's also like holding paint. The octopus is like tentacles are like holding paintbrushes at the bottom.
That is the most you fucking tattoo that I could probably think of. That seems pretty on brand.
No, I thought it was pretty fucking on point because like I just told him, I was like, look, and the woman doesn't look just like me, but like I sent him a reference picture of me, an octopus, and then paintbrushes. I was like, these are the 3 things I want incorporated. The chick doesn't have to look just like me, but you know, here's a reference picture. I was like, but this is what I want. And then when I, you know, got to the shop, he had created this fucking beautiful piece, and I was like, yes, I'm so excited. Like, and I loved, because I didn't tell him to make her eyes look like an octopus, but he did, and I fucking love it. And then she's got these little speckles on her face, like what the octopus has on his tentacles, and I just
right.
I just thought it was really
I know I'm a little late for notes, but hear me out. I think the woman probably should have been Jessica Rabbit.
Right? Probably.
I know it's a little late for notes. It's a little late.
It's okay, because like now that he's done this, I really want to get the woman on my arm fixed, because she looks like she has birth defects in comparison. Because I'm just like, this bitch on my arm looks funky now, because I used to think she was so pretty, but now that I have this bitch on my thigh, I'm like, the fuck? Like,
And now the one on your arm looks like a cast member from the Hills Have Eyes remake?
Yes, that's exactly what's happened. So I'd like to get that, you know, I'd like to get that adjusted now.
Get it touched up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds like a fucking trippy tattoo, dude. Anything else you've been up to?
I also ordered Saga, and I've been reading that, which Saga it's a comic by Image Comics. I don't want to get too heavily into it because I know we talked about doing this at some point. But it's essentially like this couple, their planets are at war with each other, and the war's affected the entire galaxy, and they, you know, fall in love, have a baby, and they're on the fucking run. That's just the gist of it. But I bought the first compendium, which is like the first 11 volumes of it, and they've been on hiatus for a while, and I've already read all these, but I'm just really excited to reread them again. It's making me happy, making me very happy. And then I also recently went to a Whole Foods store and Trader Joe's, which is like the first.
Oh.
I've been to a Whole Foods store before, you know, but I've never been to Trader Joe's, and they have, you know, a bunch of like vegetarian, vegan like options and things, which is really cool for me because, you know, there's not a whole lot of places that have a lot of shit that I can eat. Now,
yeah, there's only one type of meat you eat. Know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying. Oh, come here, boy. Anyway. Anyway. So I used to love peppered beef jerky. That was like my shit. And so like I'm going down this aisle and I see that they have like fake beef jerkies. And they've got like multiple different kinds, and my ass goes for the cheapest one, which I shouldn't have done. I feel like I should have bought like the kind that was made out of like fucking tofu or something. But no, I decided to get coconut jerky. Foul. It was foul. Like I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I hope this is good, blah, blah, blah. And then I fucking try it and I'm like, that is disgusting.
Sure, coconut. Fucking you.
Fucking vom. So now it's dog treats. Like they're sitting.
Oh.
Layla ate them. I was like, watch me take these home, and then my dog's not even gonna fucking eat.
Layla, the one who will eat literally fucking anything, is like, oh God, no, I have standards.
But no, she ate it. But you know, I'm like, okay, well, good. At least someone will eat it. At least they're not going completely to fucking waste. So. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I've really been up to lately, you know? Nothing too big of a fucking deal.
Okay. I mean, that sounds pretty good. I'm excited to see that tattoo, though. And without further ado, I'm also excited for this segue that I'm forcing, because that means that I can take a break and get a beer for the second part of this recording. Commercials!
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Witness history as Robotic Wrestling Championship title holder Error Not Found faces his toughest challenger yet, Jim Graw the Chainsaw. Come witness beautifully scripted carnage at this year's RoboSlam Mania this Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. You think you can handle the chainsaw? Just listen to my voice modulator. I was built for wrestling. Ooh yeah, the chainsaw is creeping.
Error not found. Error.
Intense action coming to you live this Sunday at the Dick Johnson Entertainment Emporium, located in the Old Circuit City. Robo Slam Mania. Are you machine enough to handle it?
Robot programming not guaranteed to be fit for human audience. There will be no refunds, and attendees agree to a waiver not guaranteeing their own personal safety.
Hello and welcome back. I would like to start this on a very solemn note, and with a quote from the volume that I actually found to be pretty fitting for the rest of this final volume of the series, for Descender Volume 6, War of the Machines.
The Machine War.
The Machine War, I apologize.
It is okay.
I knew I was going to do that. I think that's a Terminator thing. It's just, interchangeable. The quote, though, and I really loved it, I had to go back and write it down, was, "I have seen real gods, and in them I have seen the face of death."
Ooh, I like that.
And I felt like that was a very proper way to describe how this volume goes. So if you guys aren't aware, we are going to spoil the shit out of the finale of Descender.
Yes. So if you haven't read it, read it and then come back.
Keyauni, do you have anything you want to start us off with here? This one is pretty solemn, like I said.
Okay, I really like how they kind of went back and explained how, because the original robot was found by a professor and Quan in the beginning. That's where Quan got all of his stuff. They found him in what they thought were ancient ass ruins, this, that, and the third. But apparently they had been through this already. The professor had actually been taken in by the, what are they called again? The big giant fucking things?
The Harvesters?
The Harvesters. They were actually called the Dissenters, were what those things were called originally, way back in the day.
Can I interject here a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Essentially, the robot they found was created by a professor 10,000 years ago who left, not even Earth, I can't remember what his planet was called, but he managed to discover a harvester, and they welcomed him aboard, and on board he met a machine race called the Descenders.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. Anyway, so he took all this knowledge and information and he created robots. Well, robots on their planet, but he ended up using them as servitude and stuff like that, and that they were
robots to do the work and drill,
and then he finally created a robot that was sentient in the same way. But then the robot asked him if he was going to be his slave or not, if he was beneath him, and he essentially said yes, because I created you. And then that is what allowed the Harvesters to see what he did, and come to find out it was a whole test. And
yes,
and they were
the way he reverse engineered and created that robot was basically with the same technology that the Descenders were made out of, or at least the best of his ability. So when the robot came to, it was basically like a link or a conduit for the Descenders to look through and basically initiate the test. And he asked him, am I your companion? It's no, you are my servant. And like you said, that was the test that triggered the first Harvester attack.
Yes, because the Harvesters essentially wiped all of humanity out, because they were you were given a chance, and you're meant to coexist with with robot kind, or machine kind. They're not your slaves or your servants or anything like that. And so they basically wiped them all out. And then, years and years and years later, when Quan and the other professor found this robot, that's when, the whole cycle kind of started all the fuck over again.
Right, where Quan copied the codex and went off to go make his line of robots, and the professor went off with the original quote-unquote god robot, as I've been calling him.
And then eventually the same thing happened. The Harvesters actually showed up to give them a warning, to be this isn't how you're supposed to be treating them. And so in turn they got scared and then started basically a freaking machine kind holocaust. And that's where that whole thing fucking went down.
Yeah, which kicked off the entire series, with the robot culling. And I would not have guessed that was a warning shot on behalf of the Harvesters.
No, like you'd think you would have explained because no one knew who the fuck you were or what the fuck you were. Like, I feel like had you said in like, I mean, maybe attacked a little bit and then been like, yo, this is why the fuck we're here. Like, cause how were they supposed to know? Nobody knew where the fuck you came from. Not that it was okay, you know, how they were being treated, but like they had no idea that the machines were sentient beings in any fucking capacity.
You know what we skipped over while we were discussing the original professor being within the Harvester and meeting the Descenders was the fact that he was his hypothesis was that the humans were created by machines.
Yeah, I noticed that. And part of me
Totally skimmed over that too.
part of me wonders if that's true. I mean, we'll find out later, I suppose, but
So all that happens, and like we said, you know, back to where we were. Quan meets up with the robot, blah blah blah. Then that starts the first volume, and that brings us back to the current timeline, where the UGC is debating over Mata about what to do, and the Hardwire is preparing for an attack, and the Ganesh are coming for revenge.
the Hardwire is kicking ass. Like, they are just fucking annihilating everyone and everything. Period.
See, because the Hardwire has like that hive mind ability, they don't necessarily. Well, I guess not even a hive mind, but they all agree with like what to do on the tactics because they all have the
unity
same
is there.
component. Yeah. So while the UGC is bickering with what the strategy is, the Hardwire basically just kicks in the door of the council room and kills everybody.
Oh yeah.
They just gun down human and whatever the other species are that I can't remember right now, but just blows them all away.
And speaking of like robots and stuff, Quan is basically a robot now because last we knew he had been shot by that little psycho fuck and the Tim 22. So but then he comes out and he's got like his whole spine was ruined. So like the robots that were living underneath Malta like helped him. Like, and he's got like robot legs and a robot spine.
And he's got no dick.
He's got I didn't even think about that.
That's the fair. Like they literally took everything from the waist down. He's like, my spine was broken, so they just took all of it. Like, they couldn't have done anything for you.
I didn't even think about the fact that he was missing his fucking dick.
They were just like, fuck it. He's not getting laid anyways.
That's fine. He's a fucking tool anyway.
Oh, anyways, yeah, that was the first note that I put. I'm like, oh, Quan is a cyborg with no dick.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god.
So yeah, he's back as a cyborg, and he's all, I guess, pacified or more grown up. I don't know. He's had like a whole character arc since getting shot.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of like he like understands that he was wrong and that he, you know, did some fucked up shit and he's kind of like, you know, the key to all this shit being the way it fucking is. Like him and his fucking ego
Look,
are why we're
guys, my bad.
Oops.
I dropped the ball. I know. I'm sorry.
Look now, I got robot legs. Like I know.
I understand now. I get it.
It took me losing my dick for me to comprehend what
I lost the need to jerk off and wave my science dick around in a show of masculinity, so I get it now.
I understand.
I don't. Yeah, I fucked up. That was all worthless. I'm sorry. So real quick, before we get too much into the whole Quan and Tim 21 and God robot of it all, can we talk about the adorable little human-sized harvester? Because I didn't realize it was a little baby harvester.
I didn't realize either. Like, I'm over here thinking that thing's fucking huge, and then the actual fucking harvester shows up, and it's just like 3 times its size, and it's like, bitch, squish.
I just thought that was adorable. Like when the big harvester shows up, it just very carefully basically palms the human harvester and just destroys it. But more on that later. I just thought that was adorable. So
you tried. You
look at you doing your best. So Andy and Queen Between, how do you feel about what they got going on there?
Okay,
and they're sitting there arguing with Blugger.
Well, before that fucking happened, because they weren't. Well, I mean, I guess they were arguing with him, but like when Blugger fucking shot Effie, like I wanted to murder him. Or Queen
Hey,
Bikini, sorry.
hey,
I know,
thank you.
I
You put
know.
some fucking respect on that name.
When Blugger fucking shot her, I was like, this mother, like I wrote it in all caps. I was like, Blugger fucking shot her.
Do you want to hear my notes on that one?
Yes.
Blugger, the former scrapper and killer, is untrustworthy. Shot Queen. Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought?
Anyways, wow, untrustworthy. The guy you forced along. All right.
But she is the shit, you know what I'm saying? And she handled it really fucking well. So, you know what I'm saying? She didn't die. She woke up and knocked him the fuck out.
Well, here's my question. Because he doesn't come back, did she knock him out or fucking, like, snap his neck with that one? Because that was a hard chop from Mechanized Arm.
I would imagine she probably snapped his fucking neck. Because we didn't hear anything about Blugger the rest of the fucking time. So
yeah, it didn't occur to me until just now, but like, did she just pop up and karate chop his neck and that was it? Just
I think
done.
so. And I also, I think he's probably done. But I'm also like really glad that she like tore into fucking Andy's ass about when she
Bandit.
Yeah, about Bandit and Tim 21 because he's like, oh, he's just a robot, and she's like, you fucking know better than that. Like that's your family. You know that's your family. And like I'm just really glad that she treated the fuck out of him and was like, "Look, bitch, you
care about Tim. You know you care about Bandit. Shut the fuck up.
Stop being a macho man and pretending that you fucking don't, because we both know that you do. You're bitch.
Stop being a fucking Chad. All right, get with the times.
Stop being a Chad, Andy.
We ain't got time for this fuckboy shit. All right, you care. We know you care. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. And then when he finally gets to Tim and he's kind of like being weird about the hug, I'm like, bitch, if you don't fucking hug Tim, if you don't give him the hug that he deserves, god damn it, I'm gonna reach through these pages and slap you.
Look, I didn't cry, but I did feel myself getting a little emotional. I'm like, man, like this is kind of a big deal. Like, you know, I know they're just fucking ink on a page, but still, it's hard not to get wrapped up in the story of it all. Like, they did a great job making you care about the characters, which is really what you want.
Yeah, they really fucking did. They really did. And speaking of Tim 21 just changing everyone's life, like I am so glad that Telsa had like a whole turnaround. Like she was being a dumb bitch in the first place, like taking Tim over to the harvesters anyway. But like when she's like, you're right, take him and get out of here. Save him, go. Like don't make him do this. Like I was like, good, bitch.
Yeah, so if anyone's not caught up, I don't know why you wouldn't be if you're listening to this. Basically the gist is, Tim 21 has the ability to morph with the conduit / god robot and transport all the robots back to the Descenders' home harvester / home planet. I'm not even sure exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know, robot heaven for lack of a better term. But he would have to basically combine with him, and all the robots would disappear and go be one equals, which, you know, is great.
Mm-hmm.
But Telsa refuses, holds them all at gunpoint, takes Quan. They go to the baby harvester that we mentioned earlier, gets in there. Telsa realizes she done fucked up. The baby harvester gets fucking rocked, and they leave.
And I like that because Tim looks at her and was like, I knew you weren't as tough as you pretended. And I thought that was cute. She was like, don't tell anybody or I'll scrap you myself.
Oh yeah, I'll come for you, motherfucker. I will hunt you.
I will hunt you down and gut you like a fish. Like, okay, Telsa, you and your fucking dad.
But no, it was pretty cool. You had the shootout. Andy was going at it back to back. Telsa, they were shooting out with Hardwire. It was Hardwire, right? Yeah, that was Hardwire.
Mm-hmm.
Hardwire was jumping on the harvester, trying to take control of that, and Tim 21. Because, you know, again, Tim 21's the main goal here for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking epic ending to this comic book, man.
Yes, I really loved it. And can we talk about, like, Mizzard and Driller? Like, I didn't realize, like, Mizzard himself, like, knows magic and does magic.
I'm telling you.
And I wish... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The moment they got to that planet, I was like, this is fucking Dagobah. This guy, the hermit Mizzard, is a short guy. He might even be green, and he has a magical wand. I am telling you right now, this is their homage to Yoda. This is this universe's version of Yoda. Go on.
And I wish, like, he intrigues me so much. Like, I really wish that he was introduced sooner in the series. But I think what he is I think that he's a gateway to the next series. I think that he's going to play a big part in the Ascender comic.
You know what? He very well could.
I hope that he does.
Yeah, I don't know. Spoiler alert. But I think the main character for the next one is going to be Mila.
Yeah, Andy's daughter.
But before we get to that exact moment, of course, as the Harvesters show up, they basically in the series as it began.
Yeah, they wipe everything out, but they also like teleport all the robots to somewhere else. He said that this star system does not deserve machine kind, and just removes all of the robots, including Tim 21. And
But
go ahead.
Can we talk about Driller's little redeeming bit there with Andy and Queen Between?
Yes, I love that, because as they were taking everyone away, they blew up the ships, and then Andy and Queen Between are just kind of floating out into space.
And they have this loving moment with one another where they, kiss and embrace in this force field that she managed to create. And as this is happening, Driller has this moment where he's like, oh no, Herman's. And pulls this fucking hysterically, like, heroic shit where he jumps from the ship and uses his drill as a grappling hook and just grabs and saves both of them.
And I love that. I'm like, oh, Driller, you're such a good dude, bro. You're such a good dude. You're my favorite.
And he just hops in there. He's just like, we're even now. And then Andy's like, yeah, all right, yeah, sounds good.
All right, yeah. And I just, I have in here, I was like, Driller was my favorite character. I feel like out of everyone, Driller was my favorite character. And let me back up for a minute before I go into that. Like, before they blew everything up, they were seriously considering giving humankind another chance, because Andy showed them everything he's seen and showed them that they can change, and that the progress is just slow with it. And so the Harvesters, like the god robots or whatever, they were like, oh, well, you've had a different experience than what we've seen. And they were really considering it. And then the fucking Ganeshans, or the Ganesh, or whatever the fuck, show up, pop up out of fucking shift space and ruin everything. Because they're like, yep, we're just going to blow all this shit up. I'm like, you.
And wrecked the Hardwire.
Yeah.
Just destroyed all of their shit.
Right? And then that's when they were like, nope, too late. We're just going to wipe out all of mankind because y'all are fucking trash.
One small correction. It was Tim 21 that showed them that humans can change.
Didn't I say Tim 21?
You said Andy.
I said Andy. Oh, sorry. I meant to say Tim 21. Obviously, it was Tim 21.
Yeah, I know this is a scrambled timeline, so that's why I kind of hope everybody got to read this along with us, but I was really enjoying every panel, and I was really fucking sad to watch it end.
I really was, too. I really fucking was, too. And then, like, at the end of it, it's like, and that's how the universe ended, and like it's all written in like this little kid's handwriting and stuff.
Can I like, I want to tell people basically what happened to each planet. So each major UGC planet had like anywhere from, I believe it was like 2 to 3 million to hundreds and hundreds of millions. At the end of the Harvester attacks, each planet had maybe hundreds of thousands at the most. I think one of them was down to like 2,000 people, and it had maybe 9 million before that, or like a heavy chunk. So we're talking decimated populations from what it used to be.
Yeah, like almost completely fucking annihilated. Like it's intense. So essentially, this little kid that's telling us this story that her dad had told her about how the universe had ended. She's essentially living in a post-apocalypse situation, and come to find out, this little kid telling the story, the dad that's telling her all of this is Andy. So I'm assuming that she is Andy and Queen Between's daughter. I don't know how that works. But
100% she is, though.
Like,
she has the long black hair. I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, she's got to be. She's got to be. But I feel like, this is them leading into the next portion of the series, which is Ascender, which I believe has 5 volumes or 6.
I think it's 6, just like this one.
Okay.
So you have the girl who I'm assuming is going to be the protagonist of Ascender.
And it also said that because there's been a lack of robots, that magic has made its way back to the universe, which is what makes me think that Mizzard is going to play a large part in this next in this next set.
Oh my god!
I know.
What if Mila learns the magic? What about Mila? What if she learns magic?
That would be so fucking cool.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh my god, I can't. I'm trying to save money. I can't. I have to do this slowly. We'll get there.
I almost
We'll
got
get
on
there, we'll get
Amazon today and bought them all, and I was like, no, bitch, simmer down. Just get one. It's fine. Just get one, or the first three. You know what I'm saying?
You're a while away from doing it. Just sit down. Okay. So closing thoughts. Do you have? I know you mentioned your favorite character. Do you have at the top of your head like a favorite moment or a favorite action scene, anything like that?
I think my some of my favorite moments were probably when Driller and Mizzard were on that planet. Like that where like all of a sudden you've got these little fucking things, the little what are they? I don't know, goblins that have like the soul
The goblins,
the soul bombs
the
or whatever, and the vampires, like because you just like you've had this set faction of stuff, and then all of a sudden you've got like this random introduction of things that you didn't even know existed in the entirety of this. So like I really liked that. I thought that was really fucking cool. But yeah, other than that, like I said, Driller has probably been my favorite character throughout this whole thing for sure.
I think if I was gonna go with my favorite character, it would probably also be Driller. But if we're gonna go with like character arcs and how they grew, I'm a big fan of Andy and how he changed, and Telsa.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite action scene or action probably would have been when Driller and Tolis were going at it in the Gladiator Arena in Volume 2 or 3. That was pretty cool. That or the final shootout. I'm kind of tied between those two.
Yeah, the final shootout was pretty fucking boss. But I would agree on the Telsa character arc. I thought that I was really happy with that. Like, I'm like, bitch, I know that he's softening your heart. Like, he fucking has to. Oh, okay. Hands down, favorite action scene is when Tim 21 and Telsa fucking tear apart Tim 22. Because, like, I think that the artwork with Tim 22 and his head like hanging and him being like, I am the destroyer of worlds. Like, I just thought that was so fucking dope. I thought that was so cool. I love the way that was drawn. I love the way it looked. Like, I love that his head was hanging by some fucking wires and he's still like ready to kill you.
He was on some Damien Omen type shit.
Yes, very much so. That was probably one of my favorite scenes.
I just thought about this and I didn't ask you, but my favorite faction would have to be still probably the Hardwire, just because like they were meticulous, ruthless, and strategic. The only error they made was blowing away the Ganesh's leader. If they wouldn't have done that, they would have fucking won, and humanity might have actually been saved too. It is wild to think about the differences.
Yeah, I would definitely say that I feel like the Hardwire was my favorite, mainly because like I think that I felt like human beings were trash from jump in this. Like I'm just like you're treating them so fucking poorly. So like I can understand their anger and and why they are the way that they fucking are. Like so I was definitely Team Hardwire majority of the
And
time.
I also think it's fair to point out like the Hardwire is the faction you see do the most, because you see a little bit of UGC with the flying and all that.
Mhm.
Like, they're mostly in space. You see a little bit of the Ganesh, but not a whole lot. So I guess really in terms of factions, like you do see the Hardwire do a lot more than anybody else. But I don't know. They did seem a lot more thought out and strategic than the rest of them as well.
And I think that's because they were all on the fucking same team. I feel like, with the humanoid species or the UGC and everything, like everything was so fucking political and they, were bickering and arguing. They were almost warring amongst themselves with certain, planets and stuff like that, because
Actually, it reminds me a little bit of the first Mass Effect game, but go on.
So they're, kind of bickering amongst themselves. And so like they didn't have the same like hard pressed goal. Like the Hardwire was united. Like they were a fucking team. Like they had one goddamn mission and that was it. And like everybody was fucking in on it. Now I feel like there was no lack of ignorance. The the lack of understanding about the true depths of what was going on, I feel like was definitely UGC's downfall.
And really, that's like 95% because Quan was a piece of shit, right?
Yeah, that's
we were right this entire time.
That's what
we were right.
That's what I'm saying. Like this whole thing is fucking Quan's fault. And if he had not, because the original fucking person who found, like, because the professor was the one that was studying him, and he stole the codex and shit from the professor that he was supposed to be learning from, and then went out in the world and fucking did whatever the fuck he wanted. Because again, his ego. It was, like you mentioning him losing his dick. I'm like, that's kind of what it took. That's fucked up, but that's what it
Pretty
took
much.
for you to lose your goddamn ego
Hey.
and be like, you know what, I was wrong.
Keyauni, let me explain something to you about men, okay? All of our ego comes from our dick. Thank you very much.
I no longer have this to swing around. There's no dick measuring contest here.
I'm more like just torso and one arm. I'm a slightly better version of Anakin Skywalker in the sense that I have one more human limb. Once he becomes Darth Vader. I didn't think about this though. It just occurred to me, like, this is kind of like the storyline from the first Mass Effect game in a few ways, like, not a whole lot, but you have an intergalactic council of species. They're all together, and basically, like, they're a little warring with politics, and they're going against a robotic species or faction or whatever that do kind of have, like, a hive mind, and they're serving these other machines known as the Reapers that are mysterious, like, forests that come and go randomly, and they haven't seen one in a long time, but it's very similar, and I can't believe it just now occurred to me that these are very similar storylines.
I have no idea about this video game, but it sounds like it's pretty fucking similar.
Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna check the timeline once I stop recording. Anyways, though, what else you got, Keyauni? Any closing thoughts?
No. Other than if you haven't read any of this, you definitely should, and you should follow us along into reading Ascender as well.
Exactly. You've got some time before we pick that one up, but you should hurry and start grabbing them now because they're gonna go fast once we do.
Yeah. Yes, it will. And if are we doing our closing stuff now?
Yes, do your closing stuff. I don't have a segue.
Okay. If you would like a vibe check or any of my other artwork, or you'd like to enter the raffle for this painting, it's a very large painting, 3 feet by 3 feet. It's beautiful. It's called Limitless. You can find that on abundantstudio.com. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at Abundant Studio. Thanks for coming, guys. Appreciate it.
And my usuals, follow the podcast on Twitter at Robots Don't Age. Go to the website, redlandsproductions.com. That's where we usually update things. Coming here, I don't have anything official for dates, but I will be releasing a free book chapter by chapter leading up to Halloween this year, so be on the lookout for that.
Nice.
It will be on our website, and after I release it there, maybe I'll do like a limited run on Amazon just for people that want a physical copy. I don't know, we'll see. But I don't know, I wrote that about a year ago, or I guess last June, so I thought that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. It's slasher, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks for reading along though, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I always cut this shit out. I don't know how I do it.